Are we in a simulation? Is our soul in an advanced robotic body? My name is Mary Moses. I am an oracle. We go live on TikTok covering a piece of paper with charcoal in an art technique I call the looking glass. And in this technique, spirit, our higher self, our subconscious mind, whatever it is, comes forward and speaks to us about where we come from, why we're here, and where we're going. Some of these symbolisms that come forward are in written history and some are not. And so let's look at them and these symbols from the perspective of being in a simulation, because that is what we are seeing. Although this is an individual reading for Catherine, this is also a collective message for you. So if you're here, you're meant to hear this message. Catherine, you began your life or your soul process as a bird person. The male energy at 1 o'clock reflects your origins. The letters MPA, the P being on the pineal gland, is important. Down from there, we see a dissension of DNA. The DNA is going down. It's as if the DNA of something began to fall. Likewise, a bird feathered-headed female is showing symbols of falling. And this descension put us down to 5 o'clock, where you are a female wearing a white dress holding a white umbrella. And you are on a piece of paper that looks like a contract with a man. There is a river between you and him, and you had to cross over this river to work with mankind. And there is a boat on the contract, and this triangle on the boat is about a trinity, and it's also about a ascension, not descension, of our DNA and our collective consciousness going back up where it had been going down. Something about collective consciousness and about the realm of the gods being pulled down by the lower realms, and there were volunteers who came here and signed a contract to bring our consciousness back up. So if you go past the contract of you and this man and this boat, we see a unicorn. A unicorn carries souls from one realm to the other. And there's a candlestick above the unicorn. This is the pillar of God, the flame of God. And then here you are being born by a mother. And this mother is under archon control. So you're not really dealing with the mother. You're dealing with principalities and powers you are unaware. So this narcissistic mother, you weren't really dealing with your real mother. You were dealing with a narcissistic control system governed and dominated by archons. Supposedly, these people who are narcissistic and under archon mind control, it's almost as if they are robotic. They aren't really real. They don't really have much of a conscience, put it that way. So we see at 7 o'clock someone is dead, or at least fallen or asleep. And then above their head is a bird person and a female, a human, looking at a hologram reality, like a simulation. And the soul of this simulation is a monkey. So this monkey mind is in a realm that is being looked upon by gods made of bird people. And we go above the bird people and the hand, almost like a tunnel, and it goes up to the wolf. The wolf is DNA, the false DNA, the DNA that had been manipulated by reptilians and archons. Oh, mother, grandmother, what big eyes you have, what big teeth you have. This is about, they manipulated our DNA so that we don't know who we're seeing. We cannot see the reptilians and the archons. We cannot see the big bad wolf. So if we move up the hand, there you are in the seat of the soul, like Humpty Dumpty on the wall. And you have an egg on your stomach with the number 33. And you have the number 22 as a mirror. You're holding a scepter that is a pine cone, and above your head is a sun. And this is a story of Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall and had a great fall. The fall or the dissension of DNA. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again. The person who held the pinecone staff is Osiris. Osiris's body was cut 14 times. His sister Isis tried to put his body back together, and they didn't find the phallus. So, why do you have the Hat Man by the contract and the Archon near the contract? This is because the powers that be, the rulers of religion, the Vatican, the Hat Man is connected to the Jinn and Dagon the fish god. Let me explain. Dagon the fish god was a fish that ate the phallus of Osiris and became a god. Dagon's son is Baal, the god of child sacrifice. And these are the energies that the Catholic Church worships. This is why the steeple on the churches look like a phallus. But if we think about these stories as an allegory of DNA, then there was a piece of our DNA, like a piece of Osiris's body, that is missing and keeping us from ascending collectively. So you are here to bring back that missing link. So you are the Humpty Dumpty on the wall that tried to put the pieces back together again. That looks like a pine cone. And putting these pieces back together again has been difficult, and you volunteered. But it seems as if you regret this. At 11 o'clock is your true mother and father, who are in the energy of the sun. And this is the lion. And you even have a grandmother handing you a cookie with the letter O. So you're an oracle, and you have the letter O everywhere on you. Your true mother and father is not your earth mother and father. They see your energy, not your deeds or this avatar body that we have currently. Notice above the head of the wolf is the shape of an eye. And this eye of the needle is a place, spiritually speaking. So you are above the eye and you're sitting on the wall. You're in a very good place, Catherine. For you to be holding the scepter of Osiris is a very powerful place. And you are here to upgrade your DNA. And by extension, it looks like the Humpty Dumpty. You're looking for that one missing link, and I think you're going to find it. The phallus is the holy dove with the olive branch. The olive branch is the piece of the Noah's Ark, and the Noah's Ark being the eye of the needle that leads us to our new land and our new home. So supposedly, if we are in a lower realm that is dominated by archons and reptilians and the Vatican, if we upgrade and we find that missing piece, the phallus or the olive branch of the holy dove, then we will find our new home after 40 days and 40 nights, which is the fourth heart chakra. And so you being above the wall is a place of ascension. This is the Kundalini awakening and finding the missing link, the phallus, that is going to link our DNA back to that divine DNA, where we can see the truth and we're not blinded by archons and reptilians anymore. So notice the pine cone here is flanked by two birds, and these birds are associated with the peacock. The peacock is the pineal gland. It's also the all-seeing eye. It's connected to the eye. And the pine cone is the ultimate illumination. And when we are illuminated, we not only ascend with our spirit, but it seems as if our DNA and our human body and vessel also ascends somehow. When we open our fourth heart chakra, our heart emits an electromagnetic energy that is connected to the sun, and it makes our heads blazon like fire. Notice that the fire looks like fire wings, which is the wings in your piece. It is connected to Hermione. You are the Hermione in your piece. And this Hermione is about going above the ark, going above the eye, and making it past a lower realm of reality and a DNA that is descended. The eye is God. below the eye is humans and ego. It's low density. So when we see the eye with a teardrop below it, Atum created the first human beings out of tears of joy. So to be below the eye is to be in a prison planet dominated by archons, full of pain, suffering, the teardrop. To be in the eye is to be more connected to God energy and a collection of a collective consciousness. And then above the eye is over the rainbow, and this is heaven. Watch this video and notice the wings above the man's head and the teardrop below the eye and the Hermione.
J.K. Rowling dropped a huge Easter egg on you that no one caught. What does this character have to do with this building? This is the Walpurgis Hall.
Notice the man with the
magical building
wings on
that's
his
straight out
head.
of Harry Potter. In an earlier Magical Europe video, I took you to the Hexentanzplatz, a sacred energetic site that's been used for pagan ritual work for thousands of years. The Walpurgis Hall sits just down the hill from the Hexentanzplatz, on the site of a ruined pagan temple. And when it was built over 100 years ago, this was a key symbolic location in the resurgence of German occultism and paganism. In short, the German occultists of the era knew that there was a pre-Christian Gnostic undercurrent in the Saxon culture. The priesthood and initiates of that culture were called the Armanen, Ermines, or Hermines.
Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
For 20 years, people have known that the name Hermione is derived from Hermes, the messenger of the gods, and the origin of the word hermetic. But did they ever realize that a Hermione was a priest and Gnostic seer of the ancient Germans? As I mentioned in earlier videos, the name Walpurgis itself comes from the ancient term for death and purification. And though Christianity has done everything it can to try to destroy those Gnostic ideals, they did survive in the works of Goethe and Hendrik, which made it forward into the Walpurgis Hall.
So think about the character of the Hermione. She is about helium, spirit. She is about the ascension of DNA and consciousness. It takes knowledge. Hermione was the one who studied the most. She memorized things. And we think that ascension can be just yoga or changing our diets or changing our affiliations with people, but it is also knowledge. We have to understand the allegory of the Bible and the boat and our how it's linked to not only planetary alignments, but our DNA. And when we think about our DNA, let's think about how our DNA looks like the eye of the needle, the all-seeing eye, and the vesica piscis, which is also the shape of the pinecone. So in the beginning was the one and all God named Atum, or the Atom. And the Atom, or Atum, cut himself in half, and he created the first human beings out of tears of joy. It makes a teardrop, and it also makes a flame. It's the tear and the flame. This vesica piscis looks like a bird's head. It looks like the holy dove. It looks like a pinecone. It looks like the all-seeing eye, and a fish, and a whale. It also looks like the Ankh. It also looks like Mother Mary praying with the veil over her face. It also is the shape of a boat from above. So this Noah's Ark in the Bible that looks like the vesica piscis, the holy dove whose face looks like the vesica piscis. This is about DNA. And DNA lost something and lost its home, lost its true connection. And the baptism of water rained down. And then suddenly the dove found the lost missing link, which was the olive branch. And suddenly the olive branch linked not only DNA, but our souls to awaken to how connected we truly are and keep us out of this world that keeps us separated. And by tampering with our DNA and tampering with our soul connections. So to be as light as a feather is the agenda. And so let's look at the number 5441 that is on the hand of Atum. This is the hand of Atum. I see in my mind's eye angelic hosts of heaven pouring down upon the earth in millions upon millions. So you were part of this angelic group of people who came here to help us collectively. And you guys know that the reptilians are working at the Pentagon, galactic slave trade, trafficking human children in exchange for whatever. The condescending, self-righteous Satanists who eat children while they judge others. I'm not sure if this is true. All I know is that we have been stripped of our memory. And we're trying to go back home. And we're in the boat and we're waiting for the Holy Dove. And the Holy Dove finally came and gave us the phallus, the olive branch, and said, here's the missing link. Here is the last piece of Osiris. Here is the phallus, and here is a piece of your DNA that was missing, that will help us to remember who we are. So there's some kind of connection to the sun being on your head and Jupiter being behind it, like hidden behind it. And also when we go above the wall, there's new rules in this place. Since you're sitting on the wall and you're Humpty Dumpty that has been put back together again, in this new place, it's not okay for us to reconnect with narcissism and those who are controlled by it, archons and reptilians. So having a relationship with your mom is probably not a good idea as we go through this ascension. The ones who hurt us, they do not need to know what we think or how we feel. They no longer have access to our mind or our emotion, because the Holy Spirit kills Baal. And Baal was the part that they put in our DNA that kept us from the phallus of Osiris and keeping our soul from being as one, like an egg. And so the human holiest of spirits is the number 999. You are the seed of the soul. You are the holiest of spirits. And you are the number of the soul, which is 999. So if we look at your piece, there's a male on the left, a female on the right. You are the seat of the soul, which is why you're sitting. And you are here to upgrade that seat of the soul. And you are here to shift things in a magical way through the energy of the sun, through your 33 Kundalini awakening. And you're also on the royal road, which is the number 22. You're here to take the false DNA, the false path of the big bad wolf. Oh, grandmother, what big eyes you have. Oh, grandmother, what big teeth you have. We have not been aware that we don't fight flesh and blood. We fight principalities and powers. So the wolf is about loyalty. We are no longer loyal to a system that lies to us like the big bad wolf. We are going to upgrade that, and our new loyalty will be toward the Holy Dove and things that are holy and true and life energy, and upgrading the DNA through activating our rainbow light body, through Kundalini awakening, of course. For some reason, I think Spirit wants you to know about these dog people. I'm not sure if they're connected to the Dogon tribe. I do know that the Vatican portrays one particular saint with a dog face. And I do know that the dog does look like the Vesica piscis, but these dog people, I think it has something to do with the movie Twilight, because the Vatican, the vampire, and the vampire are the cold ones, like the reptilians. And then the wolf people, they are the warm-blooded ones. They have the ability to know truth and transform and all this stuff. So there's some connection there, and there's some truth to it. So, but this is you. You're connected to the bird people, and you came here voluntarily. You signed a contract to upgrade us, and it sucks. I know, but we have the power through our creative abilities to transform evil into good. What man intends for evil, or what archons intend for evil, or the reptilians intend for evil, God within us intends for good. So our bad DNA, if it was intended for evil, it will be transformed into good. And so if you get into these bird people, the sirens were the females that were like birds. They were like Maleficent. And yeah, it seems as if our wings were cut by a bearded man. And this bearded man is somehow connected to a system that wanted to take away our kingdom take away our power. And so we're going back to power. So the pine cone being put back together again, I know what they say about the pine cone, but I know it's connected to the pineal gland, but I really think it's more connected to the egg. And if our spirit looks like an egg, like Osiris's body being his spirit, the egg, the seed of the soul being broken 14 times, like Humpty Dumpty on the wall and falling. This is what I'm seeing in your reading. And we have to put the pieces back together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Well, you're here to put Humpty Dumpty back together again, to break the old contracts, to break the DNA. And I don't know how you're going to do this, but this is what you are here to do. You're here to transform into Christ consciousness and to grow your soul so that by extension somehow, I don't know how it works, but you are going to create a program where other people follow you, just like currently people follow the Christ who learned to resurrect as well. And you will become a path that other people follow. And that ascension process, I'm not sure how that works, but it seems as if it's connected to a simulation. So if you're like a recorder and you're recording this life, this recording goes into a simulation, and maybe someone else will have to live your life since you're being recorded. So if your entire life is being recorded, well, when you're done with this life, someone else's soul is going to go into the past of your life and have to live it, because that life was the one that got upgraded. So if there was a soul, or if there's a spirit or something that isn't upgraded, a monkey mind, well, you're a program that does. So they have to live your life, and your life will help them to upgrade them. So I'm not sure if that's true, but I guess the simulation can do anything, huh? I don't know. It gets pretty crazy, doesn't it? According to your reading, what Spirit is telling you to do is to cut all ties to principalities and powers and relationships that are narcissistic. Cut those contracts. Use a sword and cut the contracts. Because you are coming into your Trinity. This is your triangle. The male on the right, the female on the left, and you being the third. It's like Harry Potter found his Trinity with Hermione and Weasley. And so they worked in unison as a Trinity. Kind of like Neo Anderson left the Matrix to become powerful, and he needed his Trinity. So connecting to this Trinity is what your agenda is, and it is not okay at this time to reconnect with people who are under Archon or reptilian mind control, because you have a job to do, and that job is to upgrade. And this means you're going to realize we are a collective consciousness, this holy dove that comes over the boat of the eye of the needle of our soul and our DNA, comes and upgrades us like a thief in the night. And she's the divine female, and we are in the eye, which is like the womb of the female, getting ready to birth into a new land and a new place, no longer under reptilian or archon mind control, but actually has a collective knowledge that isn't lied to anymore. So here you are holding a sword, cutting away all those who are not pure, purifying yourself through the Holy Spirit, the divine female. And look at the contract. Cut. Yay! And look at the egg. It's put back together again. It's right by your hand. Yay! And your hair is made of fire, not feathers. That's what it is. It's fire. It's the baptism of fire, baptism of water, baptism of fire, and the holy dove over your head like wings. You're going through a doorway, a portal. And so you are like an earth angel. And you came here voluntarily, but just make sure that whatever spirit tells you to do, that you obey at this time, because you do have a big time job to do. And this job is very important. And we can't look back into the lower world. And I guess we are leaving a simulation and going to the real world with that number 22 looking like a mirror. The royal road is becoming the Christ and activating the Christ consciousness within our heart and within our mind, connecting our hearts with the sun. And the sun flips every 11 years. And we go through this 11:11 awakening, like a doorway. You are a angel of God, an angel of fire, and there's a male on your hand that is a lion, and he's pulling off a mask, and he's saying you are being unmasked to who you really are. What a beautiful read. So thank you so much for what you have to teach us. And hey, anyone listening, if you would like to have a reading, go to forestfairy.com. You can also go to my link on my TikTok, my LinkedIn bio, and push on that, and you can see my YouTube videos and everything there as well. All right, guys, well, we will talk to you soon. Thank you for what you have to teach us. And this awakening is getting crazier and crazier, but I think that there is hope, and this hope is the Holy Dove.